Welcome to the KFA podcast, where our mission is to keep faith alive by kicking ass.
Well, CouchGM, Connor Webb, he's very important to this team, usually behind the camera. We got no one running the cameras today.
Yeah, it's nice being on this side.
What's that?
I said it's nice to be on this side of the camera.
Yeah, because you got some valuable information to share, specifically to our realtors and I guess our tribe. For those of you who don't know, Connor, he's, what are you on, like 18 months now? Is it 2 years yet?
It'll be 2 years, December 12th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's coming up on 2 years of putting in immense amount of grind on his YouTube channel. And it's I feel like it's done some pretty cool stuff already.
Starting to pay some dividends.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to escalate and really
should
take
we,
off from
real
here.
quick, should we pause it and bring a couch in so you can actually
That might be nice.
on the
I'd be
couch?
down with that.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I don't know if you'd be sitting low or not.
Why isn't the couch GM on a couch?
Right.
Yeah, right. Well, it's up to you.
We'll put couch in on an AI.
Did I tell you that I asked the Mariners if I could bring in an inflatable couch myself and just inflate that on the sidelines and interview players on it? And the upper people have shot it down at the moment, but I'm going to keep asking because it would just be an awesome aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
And that would get views for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of want to just jump in, and I think it'd be good just for the people who don't know the backstory, how it started, how many videos you're in now, all the work that it's actually taken to get to where you're at, and now kind of maybe some of those dividends you're talking about that you're starting to see.
Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so I mean, it comes back to I've been a huge sports fan, baseball fan since I was young. Played sports growing up. I was always a Mariners fan, Seahawks fan, and once I graduated from college, I had more time on my hands, and I got involved in a fantasy baseball league that is very competitive, and so it made me motivated to want to start following kind of like other teams than just the Mariners. So watching a lot of baseball. And, around like 2019, 2020, that's when the Mariners started to tear down their team and sell off Robinson Cano, Edwin Diaz, some of their other big name guys for prospects. And so I started to follow really closely when that happened and started to, figure out that the Mariners, they ended up having a top farm system in all of baseball, meaning that the people in the minor leagues that are going to be coming up to the major leagues are going to be, they're one of the best systems. Right. So they're going to be good over this next 5 to 10 year period. And so I just was trying to find as much information as I could about the players that we were acquiring. There was really only one YouTube channel out there talking about the Mariners, and I got to a point to where I was just like disagreeing with their opinions. And one time I submitted a question or a trade proposal of like, should we trade this person for these prospects? It's like one of the people didn't even know one of the prospects that I mentioned, and they like destroyed my trade. I was like, you didn't even know what you're talking about. So I decided that motivated me to want to start my channel. I came up with the name just because of the fantasy baseball thing. It's like if you're involved in fantasy sports, you're your own GM on the couch. That's picking up players, deciding the future. And I had been. I had takes, you could say, in the prior years to where I thought like a player would end up doing well that wasn't being talked about yet, and they ended up panning out and doing well. So I was like, okay, like I should have put that on video because then that would be proof that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Right? Yeah, so the Mariners made a trade with the Padres to acquire second baseman Adam Frazier, and that was the start of their build up these past few years to starting to contend in the playoffs. And so my first video was basically talking about how Jerry Dipoto, the current GM, has kind of owned the Padres in trades in the past. Made that video. It got, a couple thousand views in the first month. And
that's your first video?
Yeah. Wow. And it comes down to the thumbnail was super important, getting people to click on it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Also basically the thumbnail and the title are the most important things
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well,
especially when you're starting out.
Okay.
And I don't want to glance past, because you said something there that I think is extremely important and not talked about that much, because we know a lot of real estate agents or just people in general who want to start a YouTube channel just to start a YouTube channel. They don't necessarily start with identifying a need in the marketplace where something's lacking. And that sounds like kind of where you started. There's not enough content being created, so there was a gap available to fill.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think like some of the best real estate agents that we know who are using YouTube also kind of the same thing. You know, I know a couple people who, I mean, they're geniuses. You know, they relocated here and realized there's not enough content about this area and just amenities. And so they identified that need and filled it. And they were the first to do that. So they kind of got that disproportionate
And they were passionate
gain.
about that niche
Right.
because they had gone through it themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, here's what we experienced coming up here and learning this. Yeah.
I just feel like that's crucial because I know a lot of real estate agents who they decide they're going to start a YouTube channel, but they don't really have a reason to, or they don't know what they're going to do. Yeah. They're just starting it to start it. And then I feel like that's just a recipe to not be consistent.
And that's why one of the first things I tell people is just focus on making content that you yourself would want to watch.
Right.
Because if you're making videos just to get views, you're going to be sorely disappointed because, you know, like I put in tens of, call it 10 hours on a video that has gotten like pretty much no views. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that's a quality video. Like, why aren't people watching it? It could just be a factor of multiple things to where, for whatever reason, the algorithm's not picking it up. It could be the description, the title. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, the longevity of YouTube is a big reason to get into it. Yeah.
So you had a video that like didn't do really well at first, and then all of a sudden that player got traded to the Mariners, I think. Or was it to the Mariners? Did he get traded to the Mariners?
I'm trying to think of which video.
I remember there was something like his name like popped up on the radar because something happened.
There was one recently that comes to mind. I made a video about Nick Castellanos on the Phillies, his son, Liam. I just thought it was a really cool story because, you know, Liam's at all of his games and there's a ton of footage on his son and their bond together. So I made a video specific to that. You know, it didn't get many views in the short term because my subscriber base is largely Mariners. And so if I make something out of topic than what my subscriber base is used to, then it'll take longer for it to pick up. But eventually, like, you know, the Phillies made it to the playoffs and people started to see his son in the crowd and was like, hey, who's this? So then like,
They Google search it.
Yeah, and it also YouTube search. But yeah, like something like 30 to 50% of the views came from Google search alone. Wow. And so just like typing in Nick Castellanos' son, that would pull up a search which showed my video.
Right.
So.
And I think that's the beauty of YouTube is when you take that same video, if you put that on Facebook, it would have a shelf life of a couple days.
Right.
And probably wouldn't be searchable, but now you put it on YouTube, it's a search engine.
Yep.
A lot of people think it's a social media network. It's not a social media.
It's not. Yeah.
It's a search engine.
I mean, it's kind of similar to planting blogs, right? And
Yeah.
people finding your stuff based off of that. I mean, you're creating a trap, or I guess is that? I mean, I'm the guy here who
Or funnel, yeah.
yeah.
And it's the title. That's why the title is so important then, right?
Yeah, because when someone, and also when you're building out a YouTube video, you really need to take the time to build out the complete details, because there's the description itself, but then there's the keywords and the tags, which are really important. And that's where something like TubeBuddy and vidIQ come into play, because the more that you add additional keywords that are specific to the topic, and then also branching off of that topic into like a bigger sphere, it'll continue to grow that SEO score.
Okay.
And so if someone types in any of those things in the keywords, then it gives your video a higher likelihood of
casting a larger net
being
of
seen.
Potential eyeballs.
Yeah.
So challenges when you first started this, you didn't have a lot of camera equipment, right?
No.
What you were filming on your phone?
Yeah, I would set up my phone like on a tripod behind the monitor that I had, and it was super frustrating because many times I would do an entire take on a video, and then I'll look at it and it's out of focus because, you know, I have the screen not facing me because the better camera's on the back, and so that got frustrating. But I mean, yeah, you just got to start somewhere, and it's like, until I have a reason to invest in anything, I'm not going to. And I had a condenser mic at the time because my buddy and I had started a fitness brand right out of college. And so I bought the condenser mic because I was like, hey, I'm going to make videos at some point. Ended up not really using it too much, but pulled it out of the drawer for that first video and just rolled with it.
And I would say audio's have to have good audio.
That's the first thing you should invest in.
Yeah. I mean, look at the mics that we all have here, and like you can't see it on the camera, but like we bought this new thing that mixes all of the things together, all the voice tracks together, so that you have good audio. Because if the audio sucks, you're just gonna leave.
Yeah.
Right.
You could have bad video and good audio, and someone will stay on just because they can listen to it. Versus if you have perfect video, audio is awful, they're gonna click away because it's like, this is awful.
I do that myself.
Yeah.
I find that myself.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a whole lot of equipment starting up. Used your camera on your phone. What, $100 condenser mic?
Yeah, it was like $80.
Yeah, and it connects right to your computer, right? And then, because I think there's a common misconception like, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I need 3 cameras and a gimbal and wireless mics and all this other stuff. And so you just kind of started small and then added on little by little by little, right?
And in reality, you technically don't even need a camera if you don't want to be in the videos. You can make faceless videos, and some of my videos are faceless to where it's just highlights the entire time. I'm just clipping things together, images, text over the top.
Right. B-roll.
But yeah, so you don't need much at all.
Okay. So if an agent is thinking, I need a YouTube channel, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I don't want to be on camera, I think that's a great option. Like you can have a faceless channel, still have your voice in there.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
And then I think also, at least like I haven't been involved on your channel, but like with what we've been doing video wise within KFA and this podcast, I feel like it's pretty easy once you start walking the path, you identify like, man, if we bought this piece of equipment, it would save us 5 hours a week. And then you actually, once you identify the need, then you buy it, and then you can make that investment. Cause I feel like kind of like what, it was only $80, but you launched the brand and you thought I got to buy some equipment and never got used.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people make that mistake. They come and buy all the equipment and whatever. And that's just could be a recipe to, go 3 or 4 grand backwards for no reason.
And also analysis paralysis. It's like, I don't know what you don't need as much as you need to start. And it could be very basic. And you don't need the fancy editing software. If you don't want to edit it yourself, you could do the Fiverr thing, pay someone to edit your videos.
And honestly, like some of those OG subscribers to your channel, those first 100, first 200 people, and they can always look back nostalgically. Like I remember I was here when he was filming with his iPhone.
I get people pretty frequently that are like, love your videos. I've been here since like the first video.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah.
So first camera that you got past the phone, you decided to retire the phone, like, okay, I'm going to get a real camera. Super expensive?
So it's the camera that we have right there, the Canon M50 Mark II. And yeah, I was approached by Dayton and Chad like 9 months into making my videos, and they kind of saw what I was doing and was like, hey, we kind of want to start marketing more. So would you want to help make some videos for us? I was like, yeah, sure. So that was the first thing that we invested in.
Okay.
And then I've just been using that for the talking head videos.
Gotcha.
So
that's
$500 for that.
That's your regular camera that you use at home on a tripod.
All my videos are with that. Yep.
Cool. It's super compact too. What?
It's basically a starter camera, and it's like the vlog style camera that you might see influencers using, to where it's very mobile. You could walk around with it.
Put it on a stick, like a selfie stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And has the flip around screen so you can actually see.
Yep.
So pretty cool. So a couple $100. So if you did want to upgrade, go start on your phone, see if YouTube is for you.
Yep.
Then step up to that.
Right.
And now you've stepped up to the big boss over there too.
That definitely helps. Yeah. I mean, when you're if you're filming in 1080p with both cameras, you could just still see the difference, even though that can go up to 4K, but it's just the crispness of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk us through so you had the idea for the YouTube channel, you set it up. What have you learned in the last 2 years? Now, what do you know now that you wish, like, oh man, when I started out, I wish I would have known this right here?
Well, one thing that just comes to mind is, so in Final Cut Pro, they have a feature to where, you could pull up like a recorder within there. I had no clue about that for like a year.
So recording directly into
Final Cut Pro. So I was recording like standalone audio clips separate from Final Cut Pro, and then having to like drag it in, like do all this extra stuff. And then I saw someone comment on a YouTube video about the plugin inside of Final Cut, and I slapped myself on the forehead. I was like, I can't believe I didn't know that.
How much time do you think over the course of that first year you would have saved if you knew that one thing?
I mean, hours, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just from the added little thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much that I've learned. It's like it's been my obsession the past 2 years, basically. And if I'm not making a video, sometimes I'll just be like playing a baseball video game with a YouTube video on, just learning about something. So that's how I kind of operate.
And editing, like I think we could do a whole podcast just on video editing. So you had no experience editing video when
Zero.
you started this.
Yeah.
Nothing. What did you start editing on?
So I bought my MacBook Pro back in like 2020.
Okay.
And so I started my channel in December 2021. I bought it with Final Cut Pro just because I knew at some point, it's like I've known for a while that I've wanted to create videos. It's just a matter of, am I doing the fitness videos, or I didn't find the true motivation. And then it was like, okay, here's my opportunity. Like this, I need to make a video right now. And then it's just a matter of making a video, putting it out there, learn one new thing every time, learn about transitions, different effects. And then it's more so, it's like you're creating mini movies, you could say, or short films, to where now when I'm making a video, it's like I'm thinking through that first 30 seconds because of the 30-second retention being really important. And then just kind of visualizing in my head what that first 30 seconds is going to look like. I know what the meat of the video is going to be, but then figuring out the flow of it and what I want into it. Yeah, exactly.
The hook, the story, the climax, and then the finish.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. So Final Cut Pro, learning curve, Final Cut Pro?
It's really user-friendly.
Okay.
Once you just get the basics down. I mean, you have to, click through everything to figure out what stuff is.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can learn how to do something is to just do it. And so
watch YouTube videos.
Yeah. So just make a video, just work on a video. And like I said on yesterday, with who we met with yesterday, like perfect is the enemy of done. So just get it to a point to where you're comfortable putting it out there. It's not going to ever be perfect, but just get it to a point to where you're like, all right, I'm good with this. And then just get it out there, post it.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one.
Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
I always say, like, and maybe it's just because I was not an A student, but I always say, like, I'd rather take a fast B plus than a lengthy A any day.
Yeah.
And just go.
Right.
But
I'll take a fast C plus.
yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. I was always told that you don't hire the smartest person to do something, you hire the laziest person to do something because they're going to find the shortest route from A to B.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
100%. It's the story of my life.
So YouTube, elements on YouTube. So you touched briefly on like the thumbnail and the description and all these different elements when it comes to YouTube. Like what's the recipe for a successful YouTube video? Like, is there like, how do you trigger that algorithm to get your video shown?
I'll also add to like make the video long enough to get enough information out there that you're wanting to get without boring people, so that it's still entertaining, it's still informing people. But once you get to the point where you're just, grasping for stuff to like, hey, can I make this longer? It's like, just end it, tie it off with a bow and then call it good.
So a good 5-minute video or a good 3-minute video is better than a bad 5-minute video.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Or a 10-15 minute video that's not going anywhere. It's just people are going to click off of it and it's going to hurt. But yeah, some of the YouTube algorithm stuff. So the thumbnail and the title are the most important, because when someone's scrolling on YouTube, they're going to see the thumbnail, they're going to see the title. And the thing about it is, what I've noticed is that when your thumbnails and titles have a high click-through rate, YouTube will kind of push a ton of views onto it until that click-through rate is driven down to a certain point. So like if I start off with a click-through rate of 20%, then that video might get a ton of views pretty quickly, because YouTube is thinking, people are clicking on this, we want people to click on videos. Yeah, so it must be good. Let's put this in front of more people. And then at a certain point, it's driven down to 7% or something like that over time. But so I've noticed that if you have a great thumbnail, simple, good title, and then you deliver on that thumbnail and the title in the first 5 to 10 seconds, then that's the best start to it, because you're delivering on what you're telling the person that the video is about.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, the thumbnail, because that's really the first thing when you see, like, when you're watching a video and the suggested videos come up at the end.
Right.
It's always the ones with that really good, compelling thumbnail that you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, moving to Vancouver, moving to Washington. You know, best cheeseburger, best tacos in Vancouver. I'm watching that.
Yeah.
Right.
In realtor terms, we would refer to this as like, is the first photo on your listing a Twilight photo or an iPhone photo? Or, you know, like I see thumbnails all the time of it's just the person, and it's like, what the heck is that? They didn't even put a thumbnail up there. It's just a piece from the video.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean, that seems like an obvious way to, because it's all about, and we know that realtors, it's all about catching that person's attention that's scrolling through Zillow in the first few seconds, so they actually look at it.
Yep.
Same thing.
A couple other things I'll say about that is that now when you're scrolling on YouTube, if the video is somewhere around the middle of your screen, it'll start playing.
Mm-hmm.
So those first few frames people are going to see also. So that adds into it also. And then I've completely taken out introductions in my videos. Like, do not introduce yourself in the first 5 seconds or 10 seconds.
Really?
Otherwise, people are gone. Yeah.
They don't care.
Deliver on the message right away. That's what I've done, and my videos have performed better.
That might be the best message for real estate agents, actually, because it's typically what I'll see is they'll get on, and the first 30 seconds is them, you know, saying,
it's like,
hey, here I am.
Deliver on the thumbnail and title right out of the gate. Otherwise, you already lost the people. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like on property tour videos, you know, when if you're taking up half the frame, your face.
Right.
I mean, now, some people are pretty enough, I guess, that might help. But I
I
think most
can't
of
get away
us
with
show the listing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of bridging off of that, like the YouTube algorithm is totally different. Like, here's what I've noticed on YouTube. Let's say I'm scrolling through some videos, I search for something, and I find one of your videos and I watch it, but I don't subscribe. Okay. And a couple days later, you put out another video. All of a sudden, your next video is in front of me because I watched that first one. Even if I didn't subscribe, I still see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've heard before that, you know, subscriber count is kind of a vanity metric to where it doesn't matter as much as you think, and it's more of like a ego thing, because, you know, people are watching your videos, but like you mentioned, depending on how long you watched, if you liked the video,
right,
all these different factors, then it's going to keep recommending other videos.
Right.
And based on all of the other videos that you watch, like if you watch football videos and you don't watch Mariner videos, then it might figure out, okay, and then just put the football videos in front of you instead of all the baseball content.
Right.
Yeah. That's smart.
And by the way, your content right now is super hot. It's super trendy. There's a lot of other people in that same space kind of doing this whole blog, vlog kind of around sports channels. And I even see where they have the game on, like you can watch the game and watch a YouTube blog at the same time with like, and turn the sportscasters down on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's interesting.
Like the Manning cast.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's really where things are heading. You know, there's like the mainstream media and reporting and the TV, you know, cable television. Things are moving towards the streaming services, like Amazon Prime has the Thursday night football games. It's going to, and like the Manning cast, that's popular. So things are going to keep heading that direction.
Yeah, it's different. It's original. And I think you can get some personalities that you kind of jive with a little bit more. Like if you're watching the game, like if you're a Seahawk fan and you're watching the game live with 3 other people who are also Seahawk fans, I think it makes it a little more entertaining than listening to Chris Collinsworth. Not taking anything away from Chris Collinsworth, but
sure.
And there's various YouTube channels with thousands of live viewers during games. So they'll just be watching the game. It's not even on their screen because copyright and all that, but they're just their personality that's on, you know, while the game is also on this person's TV.
Huh.
So let's talk subscribers, because I think you said it's a vanity metric. I think it's a metric that a lot of people focus on, because I think people will start a YouTube channel and they'll be like, I only have 10 subscribers. How do I get my subscriber count up? What's better, views or subscribers?
definitely views.
Okay, so
And
subscribers should be like an afterthought.
for sure. And so this is like 6 months or a year ago. I was trying to figure out what realtors I should pursue. So I decided to just go on YouTube and search on YouTube in different areas. And because I had my passion with YouTube, okay, if I can find some realtors that are on YouTube, then I can connect with them on that and, build off of that. I had a few conversations with people, and I was asking them about their strategy with how they started and what worked for them. And basically, a lot of them think that it makes more sense to just post their video and not do anything with it than to post the video, tell all their friends and family, post it across all their social medias, do all that stuff. And I could see it both ways, because they want the algorithm to only be search based, to where if someone's moving right now, they're the only people watching their video. But if you have 10 views on a video, do you think it makes sense for all these other people? Or if you're posting into like a relevant Facebook page or a Reddit subreddit on like a location that you made a video about, to where you get all those other viewers onto it? So yeah, in my opinion, it's like, get the most views you can on a video, because that's the more opportunities that you have. That just makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are some ways to get more views on a video?
Having a quality video, a good thumbnail, the title.
Okay, title, thumbnail.
But yeah, beyond that, it's like, at the very beginning, I told all my family and friends and sent them my first, couple videos. But then at a certain point, I just, stopped doing that. I did post it to Reddit subreddits, like the Mariner subreddit, but there's rules against self-promotion. And so if they view that you're self-promoting, then they'll take down your post.
Right.
But I did that. I posted in various Facebook pages about the Mariners, because sure, I'm self-promoting, but I'm also providing information that Mariners fans would enjoy watching and learning about. So
right. Drive traffic to your YouTube, right?
Yep. So everything's based off of the YouTube channel, the long-form content. And then now I chop everything up into shorts, post that across YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Now I'm doing Pinterest and Threads, since you mentioned Pinterest.
Pinterest is killing it for SEO, yeah.
And now when I post a video, I also have a different app to where I just go into there. It's linked to my YouTube channel, and it has different promotional, like, social media posts that it can auto-generate. And then it'll pull in my most recent thumbnail, or I could pick whatever thumbnail I want.
Oh, that's cool.
So like those posts that you might see me post on social media saying, new video, have you seen it? That type of thing.
Yeah.
That's just pulling directly from that app. And then, so when I post a video, I post that to all my social medias right away. I include the link of the video so that on Twitter and when it posts to Facebook, they can actually click on the link. And then I put like 6 hashtags, like the Mariners, hashtag Seattle, hashtag CSRise. So I do all those right away to try to drive people. And then I also put on my story with the link to the video. So.
And your story on Instagram and Facebook, they have stories on YouTube.
I just do Instagram. I haven't ever used stories. I do use the community tab, and the community tab on Facebook YouTube is important, because that also drives engagement. Like when you're scrolling on your phone, then you'll come across a community post, and image polls get the most engagement by far. I get like over 1,000 votes on all of my polls, all of my image polls. Yeah.
What are you polling? Like, what video do you want to see next?
Yeah, so I'll do, who should I do for my next player profile, and then do like 3 different people. Like last week I did who's going to win the Apple Cup. Then I did who's going to win the Pac-12 championship this week, and a ton of engagement because everyone wants to share their opinion on who's going to win, and a ton of votes. So
cool.
Yeah.
Of course.
And those polls are on YouTube.
Yep. Huh. And also, you don't have to be subscribed to a channel to see their community posts.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But if they engage on the poll, then
if they engage on the poll, then
see your video.
Like they're in your algorithm.
Like the same thing where you watch a video but don't subscribe. The same type of thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that on TikTok too. If you watch a lot of videos of one certain account, or maybe you binge watch them but you don't follow them or subscribe, then on your next session scrolling through, you're going to see one of their videos.
Their algorithm's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, the TikTok, actually the YouTube algorithm is pretty ridiculous now too. I'm pleasantly surprised with the YouTube algorithm and how it works.
And they're all different. That's why you just have to post everywhere because you don't know which platform is going to pick up a certain post.
Right. All right, so the big long videos, like you have a 5-minute video, and you turn it into like 1 short, 2 shorts, 3 shorts.
It depends, but like a 10-minute player profile, I might have 5 shorts from that.
Just good
4
hooks.
maybe.
Is that what you're looking for, the hooks?
So the shorts are just pure meat. Okay. So it's just what is straight information that's entertaining, that's keeping people. And I might make a long form video or do a podcast, but then when you're editing for the short, you have to add more graphics on top of it potentially. But if you're just pulling from a well edited long form video, you don't have to do any of that stuff. But yeah, the shorts have to be changing, video, photo to keep people's attention and just the quality stuff.
So what's the rule? Every 5 seconds, like changing the frame every 5 seconds to keep their attention?
It's probably somewhere right around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tall, wide. I noticed YouTube is filmed all wide, right?
Yep.
But now the shorts are tall, so they just cropped in.
Yeah, so it depends. I try to zoom it in as much as I can to still show all of the information that's needed. So some videos I'll have to keep the entire thing horizontal, and then there's a bunch of black space. And in the past, what I've done is add another layer, copy and paste the video, expand it in the back and blur it out.
Yeah.
So that, like that's going, but then also in the background is going, so it's not just black space. And then I have my logo on all of the videos too.
Gotcha.
And then I add captions on top.
You have to have captions.
Right.
And are you utilizing any tools that help you like create those shorts like instantaneously?
So since you turned me on to Opus Pro, I've been using that a bit for the podcast. But when it comes to like editing my long form videos that are not very long, then I just do it all myself because I want it to look a certain way. Yeah, but Final Cut Pro.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So Final Cut can edit those tall videos as well as the wide.
Yeah, when you're creating a new file, you can just adjust the dimensions of the video. So there's a setting for vertical. You just click vertical and then it's ready to go.
It's a pain in the neck in Premiere.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, Final Cut Pro is super user friendly.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to use.
So we had a real estate agent in here yesterday, and we were talking about video editing. She has zero experience in video editing, and I showed her CapCut. CapCut has a desktop app, and I'm telling you, like, it's super robust. Like it's become my editor of choice after, of course, Premiere, but just because there's so many like easy integrations, and it's just super user friendly. So I kind of recommend, like, if you're gonna get started doing this kind of stuff, start small, go easy, learn a little bit of editing. Now, what if somebody wants to take it to a whole different level and they're like, okay, I have a 10-minute video and I have all this video and I don't want to edit it. What's the options for that?
Then yeah, that's where you'd go to Fiverr. That's really the only one that I know of.
Hire a VA, basically?
Yeah, virtual assistant. I haven't hired anyone to do any editing. I've done everything myself. But yeah, if you don't know where to start, if you're not into technology, you can just set up your camera, talk into a quality mic, send it off somewhere, show them an example of a video that you want yours to look like, and then they'll do it for you.
Yeah. I want to take it back to just a question I was going to ask earlier, but throughout the process of growing and kind of in the beginning, were there moments where you felt like it wasn't worth your time or this wasn't working, or was like, 10 new subscribers that you woke up to that day, did that keep it going pretty consistently?
Yeah, there's definitely times to where it was frustrating. Like, as I mentioned, to where you spend all these hours making a quality video and then it doesn't do what you were hoping that it would do. But then you spend like an hour making a video just on a trending topic and it gets tens of thousands of views in like a day or two. And it's like, okay, this is just doesn't really make sense. But it makes sense when you think about it. But it's like I'm trying to make it also so that I can create the videos that I want to and have the follower base to where all my videos are getting all those views.
Right.
So, but yeah, it can be discouraging for sure. It's just a matter of sticking with it.
Did you do ads? Have you run ads on YouTube?
Only recently.
Yeah.
In the past couple months, I think I've put like $500 towards it, and I've gotten a few hundred subscribers from doing that.
Okay.
But it's like I was telling you on my Michael Penix Jr. player profile, I put $75 towards running an ad, and it has like over 200,000 impressions and like 85 subscribers from that. So I'm not sure.
That's insane.
So 200,000 people at least scrolled past my ad.
Right. That's
Yeah.
insane. Like, that's so cheap.
Right.
Like,
And then comparing it to Google ads, it's
Man.
like
you can't buy exposure like that.
YouTube ads is where it's at, I think.
So monetization wise, because I think a lot of people don't realize that anybody can make money on YouTube. How many followers do you have to monetize now?
I think they reduced it.
1,000?
Yeah, when I was getting monetized, it was 1,000 subscribers and then 4,000 watch hours, which is the tougher metric.
So what's monetization on YouTube? Just for those that don't know what monetization
Yeah, so basically when you're on YouTube and whether you have a premium account or a free account, so premium accounts avoid the ads, but I also get paid based off of the premium accounts that watch my video.
Yep.
But basically monetization is any ad that's put on my video, I get a certain percentage. There's a CPM, I think is what it's called.
Yep, cost per 1,000.
Yeah, so depending on your channel, your videos, how many views it's getting, the more views you get, the more ads are run on your video, the more that you can make from that.
Okay. And you're monetizing.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been monetizing now?
It was like October last year.
Really?
So a little over a year.
Okay.
And
Quick.
So I got monetized in like 9 months, or I hit 1,000 subscribers in 9 months.
Wow. Okay.
And then what's crazy is I hit 1,000 subscribers in 9 months. I hit my second 1,000 subscribers in like 3 months. And then at one point, relatively recently, I think I went from like 4 to 5 in like a few weeks.
Wow.
Just because you had a couple of videos just blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never know when it's going to take off, but it can take off at any point.
Are you doing ads now?
I'm not right now.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to let it grow organically for a bit and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're monetizing now. So every video that gets views from this point forward, you're getting paid.
Yep. Might be less than minimum wage, but it's something.
Hey, it pays for camera equipment. It pays for additional microphones. It feeds your passion.
Right.
And like I look back on this, like if you look back 5 years and you can look at these videos from 5 years ago and like, oh, I remember when I was at 3,000 and now you're at 30,000. And that's the way I look at it.
And I'm also trying to make one-off videos, like videos that I watched before I started a YouTube channel or when I was first starting out, like how much money do you make on YouTube or like different various tips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I made a video when I hit my first year of monetization. It's like how much I made being monetized for a year with 7,000 subscribers.
Right.
And so that's a separate video to where people might be able to find me while not looking for sports, but they're interested in that information. And at the beginning of the video, I'm like, hey, if you're new to the channel, I talk all things sports, make sure to subscribe. But today I'm going to talk about monetization. So,
Okay. Is it all baseball now?
it's so now I'm branching out into different sports. So yeah, I've been doing football for a couple months. I've done 3 player profiles. I'm doing the weekly podcast with Will, and I mean, you look at the Instagram accounts for the NFL and MLB, and NFL's following is 3x what MLB is. So if I at some point pivot hard into that and that's where I need help at some point to bring on other people, but there's a huge market for football.
You said you've been doing football for a couple months.
Yeah.
And you already interviewed Seahawks offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I have some crazy stuff coming for baseball that's
Yeah.
gonna take it to the stratosphere, I think.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over 10,000 in like 2 months.
But
Yeah.
but now you're credentialed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're on the field interviewing players
And what I always say is like look back to where you were a year ago, because like a year ago, I didn't have any connections within the Mariners,
Yeah.
and now I'm at this point to where I'm having the Mariners pitching coach on my podcast next week, and he's like, anything you need help with, let me know. Which means I'm gonna get all of the pitchers or all the ones that I want to talk to on the podcast this off season. That's my goal.
that's awesome.
Do you ever ask any of them if they'll accept like a Instagram collaboration when you post something?
I haven't. So I interviewed one of the Mariners draft picks from 2023. I interviewed him last week, and I just tagged him, on the couple of reels that I posted following up after that, and he put it on his story and stuff.
Nice.
I haven't asked about collaboration yet. I probably should.
Yeah, I mean, you get a big name.
Yeah.
A couple big names on there.
Then
Get
start
it in front of their
monetizing.
500,000 followers or
Start
whatever.
monetizing
Yeah, I
on
know.
Insta now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to monetize
It's
on those
super
things.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get a creator account. Yeah.
Okay.
You turn your Facebook into a creator account too, and then you can monetize on the reels that are on Instagram and Facebook.
That'd be nice.
It's pretty easy.
And
I thought your Facebook was a creator account.
I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think I'm getting monetized on any of those yet. I'm also curious with TikTok monetization, what that looks like.
Okay.
But
Pretty similar. I wouldn't know.
yeah,
I can't monetize on TikTok. I haven't focused on TikTok.
I have like close to 7,000 on TikTok, but I mean, yeah, that's a platform to where you could blow up in a heartbeat. From
What's your
the algorithm.
highest viewed TikTok at this point?
It's like 1.4 million
Wow.
TikTok or YouTube?
TikTok.
Okay.
And then also an
Crazy.
Instagram reel did the same. The exact same video, the short that I made, did the same on TikTok and
Wow.
Instagram reels.
That's crazy. Usually it's not like that.
Is it because of something that was trending at the time?
Yeah, I mean, the video I made, the guy threw the fastest pitch in college baseball history.
Oh,
And so that's pretty big.
Yeah.
what was it?
So Ben Joyce, he's a pitcher for the Angels now, but I made a video about him, throwing the fastest pitch, which is 105.5,
Wow.
which is, I mean, good luck. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
But
Oh man. So what would you say? I mean, I know you meet with a lot of realtors interested in starting YouTube or having a starting place or doing something because they know they need to do it. They feel behind. What's some of that advice you typically give? I mean, outside of anything that you haven't already discussed today about, thumbnails and all that sorts of stuff, but
well, I mean, anyone that's listening to this that's interested in starting a YouTube channel or anything social media, reach out to me. I'd be happy to meet. That's something that I want to help more people with, but I don't know if it's because people are seeing what I'm doing, but no one's reaching out to ask. So, I mean, the advice that I would give is to just get started, start somewhere. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I could help guide you if you don't know how to set up a camera or if you're wanting to stream, do whatever. I could help guide you down that path. But just get started.
get started. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like probably make sure that they're committed to actually doing it more than 3 or 4 times because then it's probably not even worth it.
Yeah. So
Probably not worth starting.
what's your video cadence right now?
I don't have a cadence. I mean, yeah, it's like kind of whenever I have a topic that comes to mind that I am motivated to make a video on, I make a video, and that just happens to be a couple a week. And, I'm doing the weekly podcast Tuesday evenings, and then now I've been chopping that up into different long-form videos. So like the hour-long podcast, I now have, we have segments to where it's like 10 minutes talking about just the Pac-12 championship and then talking about the Heisman race. And
There
those
you
could
go.
be separate videos.
Yeah.
And then I just make a custom thumbnail for each of those, pulling from the podcast.
So you're picking really trendy topics. Like the Pac-12 championship is Saturday.
Yep.
So if you did a video today, people are searching Pac-12 championship, and
Exactly.
looking for information, and then after maybe a couple of days after, they're still talking about it. too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. How many videos, like long forms, have you actually done up to this point?
Long forms, it's approaching like 150,
Okay.
something like that. But total videos that I posted is like 670. Whew.
Including shorts and
Yeah.
all that? Okay.
And podcasts and everything.
Wow.
That's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like a second full-time job, basically.
Yeah.
I'm either making a video, I'm researching something, or learning something all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I was a real estate agent and I wanted to get into YouTube, like having somebody like you come along with the knowledge that you already have of, what works, what doesn't work, the algorithm, where to start, the cameras, the equipment, like everything, like this information is like invaluable.
Yeah. Well, you lower that stupid tax, right?
And this is all information that I learned off of YouTube, just listening to it and researching it for 2 years now. And like the other day I was listening to a video of one of the like CEOs of Google or of YouTube, and there was a big podcast creator channel that was just interviewing him for like an hour, asking him about YouTube, the algorithm, where things are heading, different tips that he would give. So that's all extremely valuable information, and it's all out there to look at.
Well, more importantly, you've learned by doing it. You know, like you came from literally no experience on YouTube, and in 2 years you're monetizing. You have 3,000 followers. You're credentialed at the Mariners, the major league level.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
Just, like that's astounding.
Yeah. But I mean, I think one of the cool things too is like I feel like a lot of times when people are thinking YouTube, you know, they make the video, they post it, and that's where it starts and finishes. Yeah. You're out there hustling to distribute it in other areas. You're working connections actively to get more quality, high-level, elite interviews that will naturally make your next video more viewed, right? So like, I mean, 670 videos all that time, but then also the time of just like actually going out and working the connections and everything. I feel like a lot of people probably don't do that.
Yeah, it's a grind, but just stick with it. Eventually it'll start to pay dividends. And yeah, I mean, the credentials, just being able to go to games for free, that's good enough alone.
Yeah.
Sitting in the press box, like walking,
yeah,
you know, walking past the general manager of the Mariners and of Dave Sims and like all these, Aaron Goldsmith, the people that are the color commentators of the TV station, like we're going to the same bathroom is like, yeah, I mean, it's weird.
Is this how Barstool Sports kind of started too, in a way?
I want to say so, and that's honestly my long-term goal, is to, you know, there's Barstool Sports and John Boy Media, I would say, are the two companies that are independent sports media companies that are now, we're essentially competitors with ESPN. Yeah. There's like all the mainstream, which is ESPN, cable television, and then there's all the independent companies. And those are the really two that stand out. Barstool is Boston, and then John Boy is New York. And so CouchGM is going to be West Coast. So
cool.
My goal is to have I'm putting it out there. My goal is to have a like warehouse that's just like a sports, you know, thing, to where we have podcast setups, offices to create videos and all that, and then
beer,
and then also like batting cages and stuff, so professional guys could come in and we could just record them like throwing a bullpen or something.
There you go.
Just all this crazy stuff.
Put a mic on them while they're trying to hit a 105-mile-an-hour fastball.
Exactly. Yeah. Make some cool content.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be
pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, I'm amazed. Like, that's why I wanted him on. I was like, we got to do a podcast with CouchGM, man. Get it on here and like tell your story and like what's happened, and you're kind of tell you what, in 10 years when you have that warehouse, you're going to look back on this video and be like, yeah, I remember when I was a little time like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it's like people ask me where it's going, and I'm like, I don't know exactly, but I don't see this as like a, you know, where am I going to be in a year? It's like a 5 to 10 year thing.
Right.
Just keep at it. If I've gone this far in a year, imagine 5 times that. It's ridiculous.
Somebody will buy it for $500 million, and then you can buy it back for $1.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Sounds great to me.
Sounds like a good business plan to me.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my
cool.
gosh. All right. Well, any last?
Yeah. Any last words?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
If you do have any questions out there, you're just looking to start a YouTube channel, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help in any way. So
where can they find you?
At the CouchGM.
On like every
There's
CouchGM on everything, huh?
At the CouchGM on everything, or lender Connor Webb on Instagram.
Oh yeah, you do loans too.
Yeah, I do loans on the side.
Yeah.
But I do have one last question. Has any of this YouTube stuff helped you build your network and get customers and clients?
I haven't gotten any deals specifically from the CouchGM, but I know that long term, it's like I'm working into these bigger spheres. And then if I can work with baseball players that I now know, that know, like, and trust me, and hey, I also do mortgages.
Right.
And they also have their sphere of people that are, at some point I'm going to tap into that, but I haven't put the energy to try to, you know, harvest that yet.
I am glad you brought that up. Well, just because I do feel like whether you're in real estate or you're a lender, our first thought oftentimes is to make content around what could get us business right now. But it's not necessarily the content that's actually entertaining, like sports stuff or stuff based around hobbies. Obviously, people are interested in looking at houses when they're looking for houses or learning about interest rates when it's applicable to them. But most people aren't making a move right this second. So I just think it's cool. And I think some of the most successful people I've seen on both sides leveraging YouTube, they're making the content around their passion first and then figuring out ways that can also benefit their business.
Well,
Right.
people do business with those that they know, like, and trust,
Yep.
right? So if
Yeah.
you have something that's in common and you know them and you like them, it's only a matter of time before you meet somebody and they'll be like, dude, I've been watching your videos for like 2 years and now they're ready to buy a house, right?
Right. And
So-
I have had one realtor from up north reach out to me over Instagram. This is like 6 months ago. And he was like, hey, just want to reach out, like not salesy or anything like that. Blah, blah, blah. Love your stuff, all this. And I'm a realtor up north, blah, blah, blah. He didn't know anything that I was in loans or anything. And then I responded. I was like, oh, funny you say, because I'm in mortgages. So then we ended up connecting. And yeah, now he's going to sell me all the time. No, yeah, so that could be a solid connection, and I didn't do anything for that. So
Yeah,
Yep. Just natural.
yeah,
for sure.
Well, wrap it up.
That's it.
Yeah.
good to go.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being
Cue
on.
the outro.
We'll do this. We'll do this again in a year when he's got like 50,000.
We'll do it in my warehouse. How about
And
that?
he's credentialed at the Seahawks, and we can go up and hang with the Seahawks and party with DK.
Yeah, right. Pete Carroll,
Yeah,
bring him
He
some
won't-
gum.
I don't think Pete Carroll will be there next year. Just saying.
we'll see.
Yeah. He
All
might
right.
not be there after tonight.
Wow.
Peace out.